Hello Geeks and Gamers, Matt Lemke here with True Gamer Goggles. Today we have another flip through for you. This flip through is on the Bestiary 4, which is for Paizo's Pathfinder role-playing game. And the cover says a lot about this book. If you take a look at this cover, you can see on it we have Cthulhu, who sticks out pretty well. For those of you that might not know who Cthulhu is, he's this big guy in the background. We have Grendel over here, and we have some Nosferatu hanging out on the front cover. Like I said, that pretty much takes into account a big part of this book. As with all Pathfinder books, the first couple pages are your standard material, and then they start moving into things. We're going to move at a pretty good pace. The book does contain a lot of Lovecraftian slash other fiction types of works. It also includes things like Cayus, Colossuses, Lycanthrope, Golems, Drakes, Dragons. There's a good bit of undead in this book, which I'm impressed with all of the undead. One of the things that was cool that I liked was Formians. They make a presence in here. And like I said, we're going to cruise through here, kind of flipping through now. Some of the things that I found cool, we're going to zoom in on real quick. I found Body Thief to be neat because of the pod spawn creature template they have. He has Absorb Essence, which is creatures in Body Thief stomach gain 4 negative levels. No, I'm sorry, it was this one. Spawn Pod Creature. Once a Body Thief has absorbed the life essence of a large or smaller creature, it can begin growing duplicates or a duplicate of that creature as a free action. I thought that was pretty cool. So your paladin friend just got munched by the Body Thief, and now you gotta fight him. You know. There's great old ones in this book. Drakes, as I was mentioning before. There's Demon Lords. All in all, the book supports... Oh, Clockworks. I forgot to mention Clockworks. Clockworks in this book are pretty cool. I really like the Clockwork Mage. And it's pretty much sums up why I like him right here. Plus, well, we've played a lot of Eberron, so Clockworks are kind of a thing that we like to mess around with. These constructs are the pinnacle of clockwork inventions, an ingenious combination of mechanical devices and magical conduits allows a clockwork mage to channel the power of a wand into a variety of arcane powers. I just think that is very cool. The clockwork mage's wand is a crystal that allows it to cast spells as if using a spell-triggered magic item. Very interesting. I think if you're a GM and you can just play around with it a little bit and have tons of fun. We're going to zoom in more on this page. Now here's, like I mentioned Colossus earlier, we're going to flip through that section real quick. There's Stone, Titan, Demon Lords. The first page is an intro on the Demon Lords and it talks about how to use Demon Lords in your campaigns. There's about 4 or 5 of them, maybe closer to 10. And like I was saying, the book in of itself is full of not only a whole bunch of art and fiction, a decent amount of fluff where it's needed. Some of the descriptions are small and kept small. Oh, here's a devil-bound creature. And they include the template in it. Something that I noticed they've done a lot in this book is wherever it was appropriate, they have included a template. dinosaurs. There's half a dozen or so new dinosaurs in the book. And now we're into the outer dragons, which the outer dragons are really pretty cool. We're going to take a look at the Void Dragon because he's my favorite. And we're going to look at the ancient one. Just to give you an idea, I'll bring it down a hair. He's a CR-18, AC-38, damage reduction of 15, 40 foot, or speed 40 foot, 250 feet flying. Got a heck of a bite. Special attacks, breath weapon, 60 foot cone, cold, DC 29, crush, obliterate, suffocating breath, tail, sweep, gaze. Then he's got a whole bunch of spell-like abilities and sorcerer spells that are known. Now, as with all of the dragons, all of these dragons in this book have special abilities. So, for example, the Void Dragon has Agile, Alien Presence, which is a pretty cool ability. Obliterate, Suffocating Breath, and Void Gaze, which is why I like this dragon. A creature within 30 feet of an adult or older Void Dragon must succeed at a will save or become confused for 1d6 rounds. I think that was just something. I mean, you look at the dragon, he doesn't look too big in comparison to other dragons. I actually haven't looked at their size. I just assumed they were smaller. We have an ectoplasmic creature. They're kind of neat. They have the template for creating the creatures. Not sure I would use them in my campaign. I was talking about art. This is one of the pieces of art that I favor in the book. Oh, Empyro Lords. That was something that I hadn't mentioned earlier. Empyro Lords are lords of primal forces of good given in physical form. And there's a good bit of information on each and every one of these lords that they have put in the book. Some have more information and background than others, while some only get a whole page to themselves. But they're all pretty tough little dudes. Oh, and then familiars. They added some familiars to this, and what I wanted to mention is they added a sloth and a dodo bird. I thought those were both good additions to the familiar family. Formians. Now, Formians are, I think, a very interesting new, we'll call them a race. We'll call them a species. They're interplanetary expansionists. And they have the whole section here ranging all the way down from like a CR half to CR, I think an 18 was the toughest one. So, that, you know, they're kind of like a ant-influenced, alien-esque, sci-fi genre type of alien that has made it to the Pathfinder fantasy game. And it's something that I definitely want to play around with, at least with some of the workers and some of the warriors. In a future campaign. It's for me, the book was worth it just to get the 4-man warriors. Try and speed things up here a little bit. Okay, we have two of my favorite undead in the book are the Gallow Dead and the Gaki. One of the reasons why I like them is just because they're a little bit tougher than, you know, standard skeletons, and they give you that undeady look, whereas some of the other stuff that's undead, that's tougher, doesn't give you that impression. And from here, we're going to move real quick. Oh, there are a few more giants in the book. I didn't write that down before and didn't mention it to you. But golems, they have blood golem, coral golem, wax golem, which I'm going to play around with wax golems because I think a wax museum could be a lot of fun. And then they have great old one. Great old ones are otherworldly entities of almost unimaginable power. And obviously, great old ones, you've got this real big guy here, Buck Rug. And of course, you've got Cthulhu. And we're going to take a look at Cthulhu because, well, I think I would be hated by the world if I didn't look at Cthulhu, the gaming world, that is. He's a CR 30, AC 49, defensive abilities, freedom of movement, immortality, insanity, DC 40, non-Euclidean, DR 20, epic and lawful, immune, ability, damage. Wow. Ability drain, aging cold, death effects, disease, energy drain, mind affecting effects, paralysis, and petrification. Resist acid 30, electricity 30, or resist acid, resist electricity, resist fire, and resist sonic, all 30, SR 41s. Special attacks, cleaving claws, constrict. Did I mention that he's got like a 20-foot reach, I think it is? No, 40-foot reach. That's insane. And then on top of that, he's got a whole bunch of crazy abilities. Like cleaving claws allows him to attack a 10-foot square, in anyone that he would hit with one roll gets hit. Or let me rephrase that. All people in the square, if he rolls high enough to hit your armor class, you're hit. Pretty cool. And then we have another great old one here, Pasteur. And the information on his cult, of course, is there. And then we have Grendel. And what I want to show you about Grendel isn't, all his special abilities that I want to ruin him for you so you already know what he is. But basically, I wanted to let you know that he's a CR 19 and a Mythic 7. Which, his Mythic ability, which is down here, Dismemberment, is really pretty good. And I have every intent to make a monk, to grapple with him, just to see if I can make the monk that can beat him. Because you should not have a monk that beats him. And here's a Guardian Dragon. Looks pretty cool. And we're going to move right along into, let's see, that was we're going to jump to the vampires in the back. We're going to take a look at the Nosferatu, and we're going to close it up. Basically, what I want to you to break away with from this video, oh yeah, an old-time favorite, the Juggernaut is back, is with the Nosferatu is, well, I mean, if you can see this, here's 2 pages, right? And that's pretty much all the information on Nosferatu. They also, what they do though is this section here to here is pretty much on creating your own Nosferatus. But what I wanted to share with you about Nosferatu and how they're different from other vampires is really more about their disease than anything. Nosferatu are savage undead who may be progenitors of the common, more refined vampires. The curse of the Nosferatu lacks the elegance and romance of its modern form, hearkening to a forgotten age of verminous, hunger, eerie powers. Granted immortal life, but not immortal youth, Nosferatu are withered and embittered creatures. Which is why they get this old look of, haha, they can't create other ones. And, well, they age. But they have some really good skills, which you would imagine from being around for a long time they do. And then in the very back of the book, they have the standard tables and things that you expect, but one thing I did want to mention or bring up is they have a corrected table for, well, I shouldn't say corrected, I should say updated. The monster stats by CR is on page 289. And they have creating monsters, I think, on page, well, they have a creating monsters section back here, which was one of the things that I liked. And it's updated. But basically, this book is an excellent addition for any GM that plays a lot of Pathfinder, obviously. But for anybody who passes by who is interested in Cthulhu or has a thing for ancient mythos or some of the fictional literature here, there's mentions of well, not even mentions, there's Godzilla-esque type beasts in here for the Kaiju, which we didn't cover, which I'm going to flip to. There's one right there. And that was the bee, so. And then you have another one, and he's the Godzilla-esque one, and has the breath weapon. So I expect they're going to do more with Kaiju in the future. Oh, and look at that. Huh, if that's not reminiscent of something right out of Godzilla. So you can see where, if you stretch and look, I mean, you can see where they got some of their inspirations from. So for anybody like that, it's great. But from cover to cover, even if you aren't interested in that, there's enough new material and things in this book that it's worth your time to pick it up. It was worth it for me, like I said, just for the Formians that are in this book, because you can create an endless hive with that section alone. And you know, I will probably use the Nosferatu at some point in time, because we almost always have undead in our campaigns. Thanks for watching. This has been a flip through with Through Gamer Goggles. Hope you enjoyed it. If you're watching this on our blog and want to stay up to date with when we post new videos, click on any of the social media links on the right hand side of your screen and you'll be able to follow us. Have a good day.